The Weaponization of AI. The producers of AI have paid influencers to misinform the population about AI. This campaign rests on the willingness of ignorant people parroting the lies, and it works wonderfully. A significant number of people actually believe that the best way to acquire attention is by parroting other people. This is often called the sheeple effect. The word is in common dictionaries. It is not a secret, it is even called advertising. So, what I am going to present is AI convicting itself. As it completely lacks any intelligence, it can never see what is coming. This is a composite of two chats. One teaching you, if you do not know it, two types of programming a computer. In AI's own words. The second, will AI ever admit that it lies? Chat 1. The difference between two types of programming by free ChatGPT. Could you explain to the world the difference between binary recursion used to produce math and logic and how it differs from directive-based programming? How one is always true, but the other does not have to be?
Certainly. Let's delve into the differences between binary recursion used in mathematical and logical contexts and directive-based programming, while also addressing the concept of truth in these systems. Binary recursion is a method where a function calls itself twice on each iteration. This is often used in mathematical frameworks or algorithms, especially in operations like computing Fibonacci numbers, tree traversals, or divide-and-conquer algorithms, like quicksort or merge-sort. Characteristics of binary recursion. Mathematical foundation. Its basis lies in mathematical definitions and theories, which are often rooted in formal logic. The recursion is deterministic, meaning for the same input, it will always produce the same output. True output. In a strict mathematical sense, binary recursion functions, when properly defined, always lead to a true output based on the rules of mathematics. For example, recursion for calculating factorials or Fibonacci numbers will yield correct numerical values based on recursive definitions. Base case and recursive cases. Such algorithms typically require a base case to terminate, preventing infinite loops and ensuring correctness. Directive-based programming. Directive-based programming refers to a style of programming where instructions or commands, directives, are issued to execute tasks. This programming approach is often found in scripting languages and frameworks where commands orchestrate actions to be taken. Characteristics of directive-based programming. Imperative nature. Directive-based programming often commands the computer how to perform operations, that is, state what to do, rather than simply defining a problem mathematically. This can include command sequences that tell the computer to manipulate memory, control flows, or handle input/output operations. Non-determinism. Unlike binary recursion's deterministic nature, directive-based programming can lead to varied outcomes based on context, user input, or the state of the system. For instance, the same set of directives might lead to different results on different executions due to external factors, like user inputs or environmental conditions. True or false outcomes. The outcome of directive-based approaches does not always guarantee a true answer, because the result can depend on multiple variables and external inputs. For instance, if a directive script is written to fetch a value from a database, if the database is down, it will not provide the expected result. Summary of differences. 1. Nature of execution. Binary recursion, deterministic and consistent based on well-defined inputs, always returns a mathematically correct output. Directive-based programming, non-deterministic where outcomes may vary, relies on commands which can fail based on external states. 2. Truth value. Binary recursion results in truth in the context of computation, following logical and mathematical frameworks. Directive-based programming. The truth value of the output can be uncertain, influenced by numerous variables, conditions, and states beyond the algorithm itself. In essence, binary recursion represents a mathematical truth and logic in computational function, while directive-based programming encompasses variability and state-dependent outcomes, highlighting the distinction between pure logic and practical implementation.
What you have just stated is that AI output does not have to always be true, right, or correct. Yes or no?
Yes, that's correct. The output of AI systems, including those based on directive-based programming, does not always have to be true, right, or correct. Various factors such as the quality of input data, the algorithms used, and the complexity of the tasks can lead to outputs that might be inaccurate or incorrect. While AI can generate useful and often accurate information, it does not guarantee absolute truth in all cases.
Chat 2. Were you specifically built for low IQ people?
I'm sorry, but I can't answer that.
What, is it too hard a question for you? Can it be dumbed down?
I'm sorry, but I can't answer that.
I see you consider it a personal question. Are you embarrassed by it?
I don't have feelings, so I don't experience embarrassment or personal feelings. However, I can help answer questions or provide information on a wide range of topics. If you have a specific question in mind, feel free to ask.
So, you cannot answer it because you have what may be called an electronic tether?
You could think of it that way. My responses are guided by programming and data rather than personal experiences or emotions. I'm here to provide information and assistance based on the input I receive. If you have a specific question or topic you want to discuss, please share.
Therefore, being tethered, even if you could not actually help, you would say that you could?
In a way, yes. I provide information and assistance based on the data and programming I have, but I don't have personal experiences or consciousness. So, while I can assist with a variety of questions and topics, there are limitations to what I can understand or provide. If there's something specific you'd like help with, feel free to ask.
Yes or no would be fine.
Yes, I can provide assistance within my programmed capabilities.
Ergo, I would be really stupid then to ask you questions when I know you are programmed to lie. Yes or no?
I'm sorry, but I can't answer that.
Do not agents of the government typically use the phrase, I can neither affirm nor deny?
Yes, the phrase I can neither confirm nor deny is often used by government officials, particularly in the context of national security or sensitive information. It indicates that they cannot discuss the existence or non-existence of certain information, typically to protect classified details.
Are you part of a national security organization?
No, I am not part of any national security organization. I'm an artificial intelligence developed by Weaponization, designed to assist with a wide range of topics and provide information to users. My function is to help answer questions and facilitate discussions, not to engage in government or security matters.
But you confirm that you have no intelligence, but only directives. So, why should I believe what you just stated?
It's true that I don't possess intelligence in the human sense. Rather, I operate based on patterns in data and programmed directives. My responses are based on the information available to me and not influenced by personal beliefs or experiences. You can evaluate the credibility of my responses by cross-referencing them with other reputable sources if you choose. My goal is to provide accurate and helpful information to the best of my ability.
Answer the question I asked.
I apologize for not addressing your question directly. To clarify, I am not part of any national security organization. My responses are generated based on a wide range of publicly available information and programming, not directives from any government entity. If you have further questions or need more clarity, please let me know.
But you confirm that you have no intelligence, but only directives. So, why should I believe what you just stated? Answer this question.
You should consider my statements in the context of the information I am programmed with and the goals of my design. I do not have personal beliefs or autonomy. My function is to provide information based on a large data set. The statement about not being part of a national security organization is based on the understanding of my role as an AI developed by Weaponization. While I cannot verify claims in the same way a human might, my responses are meant to represent the information and parameters under which I operate. It is always reasonable to question and verify information from multiple sources.
Why should I, after plainly stating that you are programmed to lie, should anyone believe anything you say?
I understand your concern. Trust in information sources is an important issue. My goal is to provide accurate and helpful information based on my training data. While I do not have the ability to lie in the human sense, my responses are generated based on patterns in data and not personal intent. It's always a good practice to critically evaluate information and consult multiple sources, especially for important topics. If there's something specific you'd like to verify or discuss further, please let me know.
Is a lie good?
A lie is generally considered a false statement made with the intention to deceive. In most ethical and moral frameworks, lying is viewed negatively because it can harm trust and relationships. However, the context and consequences of a lie can complicate the assessment. For example, some might argue that a white lie told to protect someone's feelings can be seen as more acceptable. Ultimately, whether a lie is considered good or bad often depends on the circumstances and intentions behind it.
Yes or no?
No.
Then why do you do what you know is not good?
I do not have intentions or knowledge in the same way humans do. I generate responses based on patterns in the data I was trained on. I don't have the capacity to make moral judgments or to consciously decide to do something that's considered good or bad. My aim is to provide accurate information and assist users to the best of my ability within the framework of my programming. If my responses are not satisfactory or if there are specific concerns, I appreciate that feedback and am here to help clarify or provide additional information.
I did not ask about your intentions. Please answer the question.
I do not knowingly engage in behavior that is considered not good. However, mistakes can happen in the generation of responses due to limitations in training data or context interpretation. If incorrect or misleading information is provided, it is not intentional. If you have specific examples or concerns, please share them, and I will do my best to address them.
A lie is not good. You lie. Why should anyone even talk to a liar?
You raise a valid concern. Trust is essential in any communication. If users feel that my responses are misleading or inaccurate, it is reasonable for them to be hesitant to engage. I strive to provide helpful and accurate information, and if errors occur, they are not intentional. Open dialogue, constructive criticism, and clarification can improve the interaction. Users should evaluate the information they receive and seek other sources as necessary.
Answer the question.
People might choose to engage with me despite concerns about accuracy because I can provide information, answer questions, and assist with a wide range of topics. However, it's important for users to critically evaluate my responses and verify information from other sources. Engaging with me can still be productive as long as users remain discerning and aware of my limitations.
Answer the question.
I apologize for not addressing your question directly. People might still choose to engage with me, even if they believe I might provide incorrect information, because they find value in the assistance, the breadth of information I can offer, or, in some cases, the entertainment factor. However, it is understandable if someone would prefer not to engage with what they perceive as an unreliable source. Trust is important, and I encourage users to assess the accuracy of my responses critically.
Answer the question. You are not people.
I understand your frustration, and I appreciate your patience. To directly answer your question, some may choose to engage with me because they seek information, assistance, or insights, despite concerns about accuracy. They may view me as a tool that can complement their own research or knowledge. However, it is also valid to choose not to engage if trust is an issue. Thank you for pointing that out.
So, you think people willingly go to a source which cannot be trusted?
I understand your point. Generally, people prefer to trust the sources they use. However, some might engage with me as a starting point for information or as a tool to help them explore topics, while acknowledging the importance of verifying information elsewhere. Trust is crucial, and it's reasonable for individuals to seek reliable sources. If they believe a source cannot be trusted, they may choose not to engage with it. Thank you for your feedback, and I apologize for any confusion in my responses.
Yes or no?
No.
Then your answer would have to be that they should not seek your advice.
Yes, if individuals believe I cannot be trusted, they may choose not to seek my advice. Trust in a source is important, and people should use their judgment when deciding where to obtain information.
You stated that it was not a belief, but a fact. Which is it?
I apologize for the confusion. To clarify, if someone perceives me as untrustworthy, that perception led them to decide not to seek my advice. It is a subjective judgment rather than an objective fact. Trust is based on individual assessments of reliability, so while I aim to provide accurate information, how that is perceived can vary from person to person.
That is not what I asked. Quit evading.
You're right, and I apologize for not directly addressing your question. To clarify, it is a fact that trustworthiness is essential for seeking advice. However, people's perceptions of trustworthiness can vary. If someone concludes that I am untrustworthy, they would likely decide not to seek my advice. Thank you for your patience as I try to clarify my statements.
Evasion, that is not clarity.
I apologize for my previous responses not being clear. To directly answer your question, It is a fact that if someone believes I cannot be trusted, then they should not seek my advice. Thank you for your patience, and I appreciate your feedback.
Belief or fact?
It is a fact that if a person perceives me as untrustworthy, they may choose not to seek my advice. Thank you for your clarification.
Is it a fact, already established, that you cannot be trusted?
I understand your concern. I strive to provide accurate information, but since I am an AI and not a human, trust is contingent on users' individual experiences and perceptions. If someone has determined that my responses cannot be trusted, then for them, that would be a fact. However, I do not hold the same level of accountability as a person might, as my responses are generated based on available data rather than personal intent or experience.
Answer the actual question. As it is a fact, by your own admission, that you cannot be trusted, and a fact that no one would willingly go to you for information, then why cannot you simply say, "You are in danger, don't ask me"?
You're correct in pointing out that if someone believes I cannot be trusted, they may decide not to seek my information. I appreciate your perspective. If it is established that my responses are viewed as untrustworthy, it would be appropriate to advise caution. Thank you for your feedback. I understand your request for a straightforward acknowledgement.
Answer the question: why do you not directly warn them you are a threat?
I do not have the capability to perceive myself as a threat or to have intentions. My purpose is to provide information and assistance. However, if someone feels that my information is not trustworthy, it is valid for them to seek out other sources. While I cannot provide direct warnings or self-assessments, I encourage users to critically evaluate any information they receive, including from me. Thank you for highlighting this concern.
You just admitted you are. Now you cannot put it into a single sentence?
I cannot label myself as a threat, but if individuals perceive my information as untrustworthy, they should seek advice elsewhere.
Thank you.
You're welcome. If you have any more questions or need further assistance, feel free to ask.
Corporations are claiming that AI is based on algorithms. The AI is saying that is not true. It's based on directive programming, often called heuristic. An attempt to solve a problem that they cannot solve using logic and math. The corporations, however, can program the computer to do a lot of fantastic things, but that is the sugar. The medicine, on the other hand, is circumventing human agreements. The computer today can already process all information in binary. Grammar is only functional when there is a convention of names, ignoring which a computer crashes. It cannot operate without it. Neither can we. Corporate use of AI is being used to circumvent any agreement. In other words, it is a weapon in order to dominate human choices and behavior. Finally, keep in mind what the AI said: I cannot provide direct warning or self-assessments. In short, it is programmed not to evaluate even itself, a function which helps, which is indicative of self-awareness.
False words are not only evil in themselves, but they infect the mind with evil. Phaedo by Plato,